Welcome to a Vanguard news video without the bullshit. Let's get started. Due to the sudden release of Shadowverse Evolve in English as well as it'll be getting the Horse Girl Idol collab, the hype for the quintuplet collab in Vanguard died out. Regardless, if you like winning and are okay with spoilers, then you're going to love that Yotsuba has joined Keta Sanctuary as well as 3 new cards for the nation in DBT12. Night after school festival, Yotsuba Nakano is your not so typical quintuplet ride deck grade 1 unit, since she lets you put up to 1 quintuplet card from your deck into your memory after getting their crest. Goes to show that winners get more perks, unless Itsuki's ride deck grade 1 proves this wrong. Bride's letter Yotsuba Nakano, when placed by riding over a grade 1 quintuplet card, lets you put up to 1 quintuplet card from the top 7 cards of your deck into your memory. And while on rear guard, she gets 5k power. If a card was put into your memory this turn, she gets 10k power instead, if your memory has 5 or more quintuplet cards with different names. It was a good thing I mentioned about being spoiled, because holy shit, Bushiro didn't even hide the fact that she won due to this card's name. The quintessential quintuplets Yotsuba Nakano when placed on Vanguard makes you reveal up to 2 quintuplet cards from the top 7 cards of your deck, then add one of them to your hand and put the rest into your memory. While on Vanguard, you can pay 1 counterblast when she attacks to get 5k power for every 2 quintuplet cards in your memory, then you draw a card if your memory has 6 or more quintuplet cards with different names. While on Vanguard, you put 1 quintuplet card from your drop zone into your memory when her attack hits a Vanguard. And while on Vanguard at the start of your turn, you win the game if your memory has 14 or more quintuplet cards with 7 or more of them having different names. No wonder the grade 1 ride deck unit has an extra effect. I see what you did there, Bushiro. You may also need to run an extra copy of the quintuplet starter in your main deck, since each quintuplet only gets 6 types of cards. And those wondering how does this relate to her personality like the rest of the quintuplet decks, besides the obvious fact that she won, let me remind or spoil you that her whole character was trying to be the best and standing out among her siblings before meeting Futaro. Memories of the School Festival for Yotsuba Nakano is a normal order card that can only be played if you have the quintessential quintuplets Yotsuba Nakano Vanguard. When played, choose up to 2 quintuplet cards with the same name from your drop zone, then put one of them to the bottom of your deck and put the rest into your memory. And you perform all effects according to the number of quintuplet cards in your memory with different names. If you chose 1 or more cards with this effect, give your Vanguard 5k power until the end of your opponent's end phase. If you have 3 or more, countercharge 1 damage. If you have 5 or more, and give one of your quintuplet rearguards an auto ability that lets it perform drive check, but it goes into your memory at the end of that battle. If you have 7 or more. This is seriously giving me Gize vibes due to making your Vanguard an 18k wall while you slowly set up for your auto wink addition, while also getting enough cards to defend yourself. The day of the school festival Yotsuba Nakano is just a clone of every grade 1 rearguard quintuplet card that is pretty bland on the surface, but is actually where she almost tried to intervene from a potential rival that isn't her sister's. Bright Smile Yotsuba Nakano while on rear guard lets you pay 1 counterblast and putting a quintuplet card from your drop zone to the bottom of your deck when her attack hits, while you have the quintessential quintuplets Yotsuba Nakano Vanguard to put up to 1 quintuplet card from your deck into your memory. Then you draw a card if your memory has 5 or more quintuplet cards with different names. Expect this card to always be guarded despite it being one of 2 quintuplet cards so far that show off their many big assets. Magic of Whirling Wind Periris while on rear guard lets you bind herself when your Vanguard is attacked on the 5th or more battle of that turn to prevent your Vanguard from being hit on that battle. Who or what deck was this made to fight against? Most decks only does 4 attacks anyway, and those that do 5 or more like Flagberg or Maelstrom would have killed her with their Vanguard's ability before you could even use her. Night of Crime Severation Nihilinia when placed on rear guard lets you pay 1 Soul Blast to return one of your opponent's rear guards to the bottom of their deck, but they draw a card. What the hell is up with these generic Keta Sanctuary support, where it's either too situational to use or doesn't really give you a net positive? The only reason I could think of in making this useful is to test if your opponent is stacking their deck. Well, at least the artwork is good. Yellow Jewel Beast Topaz when placed on rearguard or guardian circle lets you put 2 ride deck cards from either your soul or drop zone back to your ride deck face up. To either call up to 1 unit card from the top 5 cards of your deck with a grade equal or lower than your Vanguard and it's put to rest position. If it's not the main phase, if this card is on rear guard, or this unit gets 15k shields, if it's on the guardian circle. It seems that the only thing Keter Sanctuary gets better than any nation as of late are their cycle cards. They are otherwise bad in other aspects. On a side note, you can't use more than 1 copy of this in Thegria if you're running only 1 grade 1 Maple and 1 light Thegria in your I deck. Finally, just when you thought your wallets was safe for the upcoming holiday season, we English players are getting what seems to be a reprint set in the form of DSS 11 this November. This so-called gift set will contain a storage box that will be left at home because it won't fit in your bag, a playmat for those that are too scared to remove their custom waifu playmats out of their plastic wrapper, some fighter coins because math is hard, 3 sets of going first or second cards since dice are too expensive when you fully bling out your deck. 6 card dividers because Bushia Road thinks you own more than 1 deck, and 2 reprints of Masques of Hydrigam promo cards which will throw all of the card vendors hoarding them into a selling frenzy. And that concludes this Vanguard news video. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments if you pick Keter Sanctuary as your nation deck because you like winning like Yotsuba.